What's up, guys? My name is Sebastián and welcome to another episode of the Seba Show, where I review each new episode of WandaVision. And today we're going to review episode 4 titled What the Fuck? No, it's titled So We Interrupt This Program, which, man, it's hard to review these episodes non-spoilerish, which I know at the end I do my spoiler take, but trying to do non-spoiler for this show? Fuck. So let's get to it. I mean, obviously, we know what happened last episode, which, you know, we were in the 70s. Stuff happened with Geraldine. She got kicked out from the simulation, and now she's out, and she got, surrounded by these, armed men, which was, what is it, the FBI? Is it, SWORD? What's going on? And then we're like, what the hell's gonna happen right now? What? So, without giving into spoilers if you're not seeing the episode, but what the hell are you doing? Go watch the show. Things are a little bit different in this episode. I mean, I kind of have to say that this episode, does a lot of interesting things. I mean, I kind of have to say that in this episode, we kind of stray away a little bit from the WandaVision show and see what's going on and see the exterior of what's going on outside of this simulation or whatever the hell this is supposed to be. Which I'll stop right there with, without rooting too much. But I'm gonna say this episode is enjoyable in that aspect, kind of just seeing what's going on outside from, because all these 3 episodes we've just been focused on is this sitcom show from these this current, these past decades, from the 50s to the 70s, but also exploring we're in the whole concept of the sitcom, but we're also exploring what the hell's going on, bit by bit. Especially last episode was a big one in terms of expanding more of what is really going on in here. Some eerie, creepy shit has been going on since the first episode, and it just kept increasing and increasing. And in this one now we kind of get to see what is going on. I mean, I'm so confused. In here, at least we're kind of expanding more of the story by going outside of the WandaVision show and kind of giving you more information here bit by bit, which you can, digest and you kind of assess what's going on. But by the episode, I was still confused. Not confused, but I'm still not sure what's going on. I think I have more of an idea of what it is, but I still don't know the why. I still don't know what the hell's going on. And since we're in the exterior of the show, this is more of a widescreen standard format of any regular MCU movie, especially the more the phase 2s to the phase 3s kind of films. Not all of them look about the same, but this is more of a kind of a Winter Soldier cinematography, sorry. Just kind of a traditional, most of the MCU movies that we've seen currently, and I love it. I love that it kind of changed the whole the way, the layout of the show, and it's just, for the whole episode, it just ran like a Marvel movie, really. I mean, which is, I kind of some people might not like it. I haven't heard of people that disliked it. I've never heard anyone dislike this episode at all, but it worked perfectly. It's we waited these 3 episodes, and having this is a great payoff, because maybe if it was in the middle, then it would have been as good. I think if waiting out these 3 episodes worked out the best. I was because I'm finally we get to see more of what's going on. I mean, we're trying to get, because I need information. I need to know what's going on, and then just being inside that show. Maybe we've been inside that show for too long and not having more information revealed kind of would have been tiring and kind of been just annoying, really. So I think this 4th episode did a great job of just not extending it too much, but still teasing you, because you don't know the full picture yet. And speaking of the Marvel, this episode expands a lot of the MCU. There's a lot of interconnectivity with the MCU. Love it. And there's big reveals, big twists and turns. Some things you're I don't know what to think about this anymore. It makes you conflicted about some things. Only in this episode. Maybe later on it gets cleared up. I'm pretty sure it will. But right now you're conflicted. At least I am. And just you don't know what to think anymore, and that's what I love about this episode. It just keep increasing the mystery, but giving you answers, but giving you more questions. Love it so much. I'm trying not to spoil this episode right now, but I love it. It's a lot of world building within the show, and just keep you intrigued, keep you hooked, and I enjoy the hell out of it. So this episode, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It was great. It was wonderful, and I loved it. Loved this whole episode. Jesus. So now let's go to some spoiler talk right here, because I need to talk about some stuff and kind of get some of my theories and my thoughts of what happened. So spoilers are abound now. So we see what's going on outside. We see what's going on. We finally see Sword. First time in operation. We've kind of seen Sword from Far From Home, although they didn't confirm if that is Sword, but people suspect it is. I do think it is Sword. Of course, we've seen like the bits of Sword from the show, but seeing in operation, this is the first time we see the headquarters, which they didn't specify where it is. We see who founded, or I guess co-founded or founded Sword, which is Maria Rambeau, which if you remember her from Captain Marvel. That's awesome. You can have heard of some good stuff from the beginning. That opening was amazing. Like already going back to Endgame or Infinity War, I'm like, oh my god, we're going back to this again. Tragedies again! But I love this focusing on Monica, which, we find out that Geraldine is actually Monica, which is, the girl from Captain Marvel, which I guess we were right all along. So that was great, and seeing her coming back from, I guess we're confirming I guess we're gonna call it Blip now? Is that what we're gonna call it now? The Blip? Sure. And, she coming back from the Blip, and I mean, that opening shot, because you see, like, this dust particle, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what am I seeing right now? And then I'm slowly turning, like, making it all connect, and I'm like, oh fuck, no, we're back to this again. Oh no. Seeing the panicking in the hospital was great. It was like pretty intense. I'm like, shit. So finding out what happened to Maria was like some kind of a shocker, and expected this to happen. And then later on, kind of seeing more of a Sword, and seeing, because what I love about this episode is we're going through the first 3 episodes, but what happened outside of the WandaVision show, and that's great. I mean, I love seeing these characters return. Like Jimmy Woo, love it. Right, Randall Park, he was amazing in the show. I mean, he was good in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was one of the best parts of that movie. But having an expanded role here is the best, and people are loving it. People are like fangasming over Jimmy Woo, because he's amazing. He's funny. He's charming. He's just a super sweet guy. You can tell he's just like, he's honest, and I love it. I love Jimmy Woo. This episode made me just fall over him, like, seriously. Again, he was great in the movie, but right in this episode, I'm like, yes, I'm all the way in. And I love, I forgot who said it. I think it was even David Landa, which is a good friend of mine. He wrote something about, like, he would love Jimmy Woo to be like basically the new Agent Coulson, kind of going through different movies and kind of keep things connected. I would love that, seriously. I think he would be great. I mean, having that personality in there, but also having a good important role as an agent of the FBI. Fuck yeah, man. I mean, yes, I'm down for that. I'm totally down for that. I love it. I can't wait to see more of him in this show. And what I also love about it is just they expanded more of his character, not just like screen time, but it's more of his character. Like, apparently we do see him, according to my co-host Carlos Blanc from Hablando Shit, which, by the way, if you want to see our spoiler discussions, you can go check it out on Hablando Shit. He said, like, I didn't notice this, that he practices magic, which is the same from Ant-Man and the Wasp, that is good. And we also see that he has desires to have a son. That's cool. It's just they give him a lot more depth in this episode than the entirety of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not that that was a bad thing. He's obviously supposed to be more of a comedic, secondary character. But I love it. I love when they do those things, when they take a minor character and expand him further on into like bigger things. I love it. And then who the fuck expected Darcy from Thor and Thor: The Dark World to come back? I certainly did not expect that to happen at all. And of course, Darcy's not, it's like one of my least favorite characters. I don't really enjoy her. Some stuff I'm like, okay, I don't hate her. But she was very annoying for most part in both of those movies, especially the second one. Oh my god. So I'm surprised to see her here. I never expected her to come back in the MCU ever. Like maybe like mention a role or a picture. Like maybe would have seen like maybe down the line, but I just like it didn't seem like it was plausible. But holy shit, who the hell expected her to come back? Especially who predicted that the hand that we saw at the end of the first episode was Darcy? If you tell me that you knew that, you're a fucking liar. So I love that, and I actually enjoyed her in this episode. I think she's still Darcy. You know, she's still that pretty sarcastic, you know, has to say something all the time, like a commentary about everything. But she's a little bit more toned down a little bit, or I guess written better. I guess Kat Dennings had to be restrained a little bit, because I think Kat Dennings had played a lot of improv in those movies. So in here, I think they were like, no. I think it worked out for the best, because I enjoyed her. I do like that she's the one that's kind of having all the important questions. She's the one that getting things connected and solving, you know, problems. She's the one that leads this whole thing, and she's the one that's like the most logical here. So I really liked her, and if we're gonna see her in the rest of the show, I'm down for it. Especially if she's like this, you know, if she's like this, then cool. I still don't love her. I still think sometimes I still see that personality from her, which I'm like not big fan of, but she was good. She was way better than any of those movies. It's like seriously. So I cannot wait to see what's in the future now. The Marvel of the MCU. Now we know what Jane Foster's role is going to be in Thor 4, and I don't know what's going to happen there. I wonder if she's going to show up. I don't know. I wonder where Eric Selvig is. Dr. Eric Selvig. I wonder where he is. It's been a while. She was good, and Kat Dennings was good. I mean, yeah, I loved it. I love having these things. So, and Monica Rambeau, she's like one of the main characters of this episode. I enjoyed her a lot, especially seeing her not being this Geraldine character, especially seeing her like who she really is. You know, she's like this dedicated and no bullshitting like agent of SWORD. I think it was good. I really liked her, and I still don't know what's going on with her. Like, what is going on? Like, what happened when she went into the world? What is really going on? They didn't even explain that, but I kind of loved it though. That I guess, like, if you think about it, there's a lot of things they did not explain from like last episode, but still, I love to see the perspective of what happened in the exterior throughout all these episodes. So, in that sense, some people might be pissed off if you think about it and like, wow, we really didn't get a lot of things answered. I think we did, but especially the big stuff, like not yet. But seeing just having the outer perspective still worked out for me, and I loved it. But we did get a big reveal of Wanda's actually the one doing this, because I thought, and a lot of people thought like maybe SWORD is the one running this simulation, which I was like, SWORD is supposed to be the good guys, right? So apparently they're not the ones running behind this. Apparently it's Wanda. It's all of Wanda. And Agnes, sorry. I'm not letting her off the hook yet. I think Agnes still, I don't know. Still got my eyes on her. But apparently this is Wanda's doing. We still don't know why exactly she's doing this and how. I believe that Wanda possibly just wants this pure, perfect life with Vision and having a family and getting away from this tragedy from like her brother dying, having these powers, you know, having her home basically destroyed, you know, all these terrible things that happened to her. I think her powers are manifesting themselves through her emotions, and then they basically created this Westview City that's supposed to not even be real. Why is she even in New Jersey? I think maybe she was there and she could just, I don't know, she wanted to be isolated, and then these powers manifested her, you know, through her, and now she doesn't know what's going on. Like she's like kind of brainwashed herself, because Augusto Blanc also said in the spoiler discussion, he said that if you remember in the Age of Ultron, one of her powers is that she can control people. So maybe these powers are controlling her mind, so she doesn't know exactly what is going on. I think that'll be interesting, but it'd be kind of cool if she just but takeaway from her from this episode was, holy shit, she's the villain. Oh my god. Which I'd be totally cool if she's actually the villain of the show. Not villain like she's killing people, but taking these people and making them these characters from the sitcom, which we still don't know why she picked up these different people or how they're even there. We still don't know that. But if she's like the one that did all this purposely, but then maybe and then she gets redeemed, she's just finds out that was just sad, and then things got out of hand or whatever. But if she did it on purpose and not because like her powers kind of made her do this, I think that'd be amazing. I'm like, that will be a turn that I never expected to see Wanda do ever. And you can tell the Vision also knows what's going on or suspects what's going on, because at the end we see his face, how he's kind of puzzled and kind of nervous and kind of scared, like terrified of her. But he's just going along with him, like, okay, because you saw when he's turned on the TV, you see his face kind of look like just nervous, like very afraid. So whoever, which also I think maybe Vision is actually the corpse of Vision being moved around by Wanda, but having, obviously the illusion that it's, his, his flesh and blood. So I think maybe that is the corpse moving around. Like, that's fucked up, and that's also cool at the same time. Shit. Or maybe he's not real, maybe he's just there as a figment of her powers. Who knows what's going on? And that's what I love. There's a lot of things answered, but still a lot of things that we don't know. And I cannot wait to keep getting more information as we go along. And this episode, which is great. It's just getting better and better. And I cannot wait for Friday. Fuck, please give it to me right now. Fuck. So what do you think about episode 4, We Interrupt This Program from WandaVision? Do you think Wanda's the villain? Or you think I'm insane? Or what do you think? What are your theories? Do you think you have to all figure it out? I mean, if you have figured it out, I will congratulate you. And hopefully you're right. But, I mean, there's a lot of things. That's what I love. I haven't seen a show that's been as mysterious as this. And having me get more questions as we go along in a long time. So I love this episode. I really enjoyed it. I think it was good, and it just get that Marvel goodness, and I guess that year break, that long year break for movies kind of made this a lot more better than maybe would have been if we had movies last year, So I think this episode just made it work because I just also kind of missed this, or at least I missed this kind of shit from Marvel. So just being in the MCU. So, but even beside that hype, I think the episode itself is just great, and they a lot of great writing, direction. Good stuff, good stuff. So thank you for watching this review and spoiler thoughts on WandaVision episode 4. Please let me know what you think about the episode and what do you think is going to happen next week and what's going to happen at the end of the show. Let me know. So my name is Sebastián Sierra, and you're watching The Seba Show.